Welcome back to the Many Toys Of, the show in which we go over the action figure histories of various Transformers characters. And today, my friends, we change history because we are speaking of a champion of the proletariat, the greatest defender of the common man against the insidious forces of the bourgeoisie. We sing of a hero whose name is inscribed in the hearts and souls of every person across this planet. We are speaking of the greatest Cybertronian of all time, the one and only Needlenose. Before we get started, we have to thank a handful of true patriots who brought Needlenose to my attention, them being Max MC55_0. But of course, there is one true champion of Needlenose, the mouthpiece of the revolution, the TF reviewer, who has spent the better part of 2 months constantly bringing Needlenose back to my attention, commenting on various reviews, talking about how every toy can be a pre-tool of Needlenose, and how every toy could be customized to be Needlenose. It is you, my friend, who has ensured that Needlenose is our subject matter today, and for that, I thank you. All joking aside, Needlenose is a very minor Decepticon, and IDW, as they did with so many minor characters, gave a whole new lease on life to this guy. It's fair to say that Needlenose was just one of the later Decepticons when it came to his Generation 1 days, but then IDW came over, brushed him off, gave him a really heartbreaking relationship with Horrible, and now he's great. I'm not gonna lie, I was one of the people who was dying to have a new toy of this guy when the first IDW continuity was still around. And thankfully now, we live in a world where he did get a new toy. But with all that said, why don't we start looking at his, admittedly somewhat small, action figure history. Needlenose had his first toy in 1988. Now, he's a pretty simple figure, even though his jet mode I do think is really nice looking. It's a great version of the F-16 Fighting Falcon, and I love the colors oh so much. They're such great early 90s colors. The robot mode is good, the proportions are on point, and I like the color scheme. It's just, he doesn't do much. I mean, his shoulders can extend, and you can kind of get leg articulation if you want to mistransform him and bend the knees the wrong way, but in all honesty, he just kind of stands there. At the same time, it's G1. Most of the characters just kind of stood there, and he stands there better than most. Alongside that, you have his two Target Master partners, Zigzag and Sunbeam. And I'll say it now, Headmasters, Target Masters, Power Masters, I like myself some Masters. They always make some of these more boring bots a little bit more interesting. And I think the double Target Master gimmick serves Needlenose well. He's a good looking bot with a fun name and a fun gimmick with his Target Masters, a good color scheme. In all honesty, I'd go so far as to say he's one of the better figures of 1988. And with that, guys, we've come to the halfway part of our video. Why don't we pop over to Third Party and see what they've gone up to with Needlenose? Third Party hasn't done a single thing with Needlenose. Going into 2016, it was time for TFCC to take a spin with Needlenose, and they gave us the Combiner Wars version of the guy. He is a redeco of Firefly, and I think he wears the mold really, really well. The colors are still on point, the proportions are solid, I love the jet mode. There's a lot to like about this guy, even if he is insanely expensive, and he still has the two Target Masters. But my friends, it was in 2023 that Needlenose finally got his new toy, and our prayers were finally answered, because at the altar of sacrifice, we got the Legacy Deluxe Class Needlenose. And I like him. He's a great figure. The articulation's on point, his proportions are beautiful, I love the colors still. It's basically the G1 guy with better articulation. There's some issues here. The transformation isn't all that impressive. It really is just swing the legs out and fold the backpack up. But at the same time, it's just Needlenose. He's good. He's great even for a Needlenose. And it's just, it feels weird that we live in this world where Needlenose got like 2 years of hype and then dropped and then was solid. And by the way, he still has his Target Masters. He has Sunbeam and Zigzag again. And that's it. Now, usually this is the part where I say, oh, this guy should have had way more toys, or, maybe he didn't need that many toys. With Needlenose, I think this is fine. I mean, he's got the G1 toy, he's got a TFCC toy, he's got the mass retail toy now. All three of them were great. Wonderful interpretations of Needlenose. All three of them completely valid figures. Put them in any collection and they're going to work well. He's just a really cool kind of D-lister. But he's a great D-lister, and one that I'm really happy to say all three of his toys were great. But guys, I'll ask you, who is your favorite Needlenose? And is there a Needlenose that you're trying to track down right now? This was a short video, but admittedly, after the back-to-back Cliff Jumper and Orion videos, I needed a little bit of a catch-up. If you have any suggestions for many toys of in the future, please feel free to put them in the comments below. We, of course, have a big list that we're working through, but we're going to get to every single character eventually. I'm going to make it up to you guys, though. I happen to know that there's a certain police spot that people have been asking me to do for a very long time, and since we're going into October, why not have a little bit extra Decepticon love? We'll see what we get up to next time.